kind of teased it in the beginning. Thoughts now that
Yes.
you've had a chance to digest what I would consider the biggest robbery trade in sports history. The Lakers acquiring a 25-year-old perennial All-Pro, took his team to
Yes.
the NBA Finals single-handedly. Luka Doncic for a very good player in Anthony Davis, who unfortunately already can't stay on the court.
Injury prone and currently injured. Um, yeah, you wonder how this thing, came to be. I think, the conversation of these, coffee shop discussions between the what general managers or their um it wasn't with the owners. I think it was right. The general managers. Am I right, Rick?
Yeah, that's what they allege, is no
Yeah.
one else
So
was involved.
coffee shop discussions about the trade of Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Um, they obviously, I mean, it's blatantly obvious that Dallas had problems with Luka, and they, wouldn't shop him around if they, thought that he was a long-term fit for their team. So, in my opinion, it can't be his play. I mean, he's offensively, top three in the league. I think he's at times a defensive liability, but you still keep anyone that's that gifted offensively on your team, and especially a guy that just went to the finals. So there were some underlying issues that probably will come to light later on. But good for the Lakers, man. I mean, it definitely will make LeBron want to play a little bit longer, in my opinion.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, it's usually a bad sign in a negotiation if the other person's saying, "Hey, we really shouldn't let anyone else know about this, so let's keep it a secret." That usually means you're going to get screwed and you're being swindled. Just
Right.
in case anyone out there was wondering.
Yeah. No, I think the Mavericks are still a playoff team. I mean, but you got a Anthony Davis who's really struggled to remain healthy, and so you say you traded your best player and then got a player who can't stay healthy. It's going to be hard for the fans to swallow, and they're already, you know, there are a lot of things being said. So, um, if he was on the Cleveland Cavs and this happened, just as LeBron left us in the past, I mean, rightfully very upset.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference is LeBron was a free agent.
Hmm.
You knowingly traded this guy at 25 years old
Right,
in the prime of his career, not even the prime of his career yet, and what he's
right.
accomplished. It's yeah, they must, whatever they didn't like behind the scenes obviously must have really been pretty nuts, but also it's just honestly unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And then Jimmy Buckets going to Golden State. I haven't really followed that lately if they're much better or not. I know the Warriors are still struggling a little bit. They're kind of at the bottom of the playoff race. So I don't know if you kept up with that because you're a Miami Heat fan. So what'd you think of that?
I mean, he clearly wanted out for a while once the Heat decided they weren't going to, give a 38-year-old guy who doesn't play in the regular season $60 million a year.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
asked out, and eventually they finally, if they finally figured out a way to make it work. So I think it hopefully will be, seems like at least a good match for both teams and what they're trying to accomplish. But sad to see him go. He's obviously a phenomenal player and definitely carried some Heat squads that had no business being in the finals to the finals. So as a Heat fan, it's sad that it ends this way. But at the end of the day, management made their decisions and he made his decisions, and it got ugly. And thankfully, it's finally over.
No, completely agree. I mean, I think the Lakers function that way a little bit too with, players that may not have the right attitude and getting rid of people that just don't fit the system, and it doesn't look like he fit their system. So, um, but that, I mean, that's the underlying issue with the NBA now, and viewership is just, having the best players in the NBA actually playing when people go to watch a game. And, I forgot one of the podcasts they were talking about All-Star Weekend and how everyone was more gravitating toward the hockey tournament versus watching the All-Star game. And I mean, that's the NBA's fault. I mean, you have players that are giving minimal effort, and everyone's there to watch them play and actually compete. I think they've lost that competitiveness because you know for some reason they want to stay healthy, they don't want to get injured, but it's a detriment to the NBA and
Well,
definitely lost viewers.
I think it's part of it, but I also think, I mean, I watched some of the pretty much all the All-Star stuff because I like basketball too much not to, but
Yeah.
the the way they did it this year was, I mean, in my opinion, not serving it all to the fans. I mean, they had 40, 50-minute commercial breaks in between these games, and then they would
Mm.
interrupt the middle of a game to honor the TNT announcers as the TNT announcers are trashing the guys on the court. I mean, if I'm a player, I could totally
Jeez.
see why you wouldn't want to,
Yeah,
the NBA was treating it as a sideshow and a joke. Why wouldn't you?
that's
So
true. It's a good point.
I think it's not just that they don't want to compete. I think it's also, listen, if you're going to treat this All-Star weekend as a sham, then why should we take it seriously versus the NHL, who smartly made it make it about pride and getting
Hmm.
people together that don't play together ever, in a really cool format, which was pretty awesome to watch.
Right. That'd be
But
interesting if they made the All-Star game, NBA All-Star game, into a US and international game. That would be interesting.
yeah, I think I mean, that a lot of people have brought that up as an idea. I mean, I think it's a great idea.
Right.
Maybe people would care a little bit more.
I think so. You just want to see them competing and not just like playing around and, not, when they don't play any defense and anyone's scoring a bucket whenever they want. It's not as fun to watch, obviously. So
Oh, for sure.
they'll figure it out. Otherwise, they're not going to have any money pouring in, you know?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Well, that was a good overtime back, Danny.
ooh, one more,
Oh,
one more quick point.
should we save it for the
So
next overtime, or is this a
I think because this is NBA that
okay? All
we got
right.
to talk about this. My heart dropped when I saw Victor Wembanyama out for the rest of the season. Did you see that, Rick?
I did. Let's tease this because he has a diagnosis, Danny, that you are trained to manage.
Ooh, okay. So we're
And
gonna touch on this in the next overtime. Again, Victor Wembanyama, we wish you well. We'll talk about it more. We'll give our insight about his diagnosis and management. But my heart was out to him because I know this guy loves to compete, and he actually played pretty hard during the All-Star game. He was fun to watch.
so tune in next time to find out how do you manage a condition I don't want to say because we're teasing it to the next episode.